Good morning. Welcome back to the Vitality Project. I'm Dr. Bob. Yesterday, we compared short-term versus longer-term solutions to the kinds of stressors that we all face at any given time. I'd like to give you an example. Just this past Sunday, I went with my daughter Amanda. She was in visiting from Texas. We went to see Mozart performed live in concert by the Pacific Symphony. I just love this orchestra here in Orange County in Southern California. There we were, Amanda and I, sitting front row and center in one of the most beautiful concert venues imaginable. It was at Soka University nearby here in the hills above Laguna Beach. There we were, and we were sitting there taking in Mozart's flute concerto and one of his violin concertos. His flute concerto was one of my mother's lifelong favorites, so it was very touching for me to be there to take this in. But smack dab in the middle of this performance, I had this sudden awareness. I remembered that I have a major public presentation coming up in just a week. Ironically, I think you'll find the irony here. It's actually about the presentation is to inform fellow addiction treatment professionals of mine about our Vitality Project here. I'll be co-presenting with my partner, Jason Reno. And this is coming up in then it was just coming up in a week. Now it's coming up in 2 days. And I have to confess to you, I instantaneously went from being in Mozart-rapture to this incredible contraction right in the center of my gut, just raw anxiety, and it was in a flash. For a minute or two, I did what one of my clients said. I barbecued in my own adrenaline. And thankfully, very quickly, I took stock of the situation and realized I need to go a different route here. All I can really tell you is that some inner prompting inside suggested to me the following, and that is, when I present to these professionals of mine, these are peers of mine who work in addiction treatment here, primarily in Orange County, I realized I just need to speak from my heart and say only what I already know by heart. I've been immersed in the field of clinical psychology for 40 years, and very specifically in addiction treatment and recovery, including my own for the past 10 years. And so the lines of a poem come to mind. It's by my favorite poet. He's the 13th century Persian spiritual poet, Rumi. He says this, he says, "Let your note be clear. I'll show you how it's enough." And though that poem didn't come to me, the sentiments of that poem came to me. I realized if I just speak from my heart, there's no deeper place, no more well-informed place than that. And I have to tell you that no sooner did that come to my mind, all of this happened within just a minute or two, this kind of directive from up inside of me, that my temporary anxiety, which was quite high, it just immediately dissipated. I think in truth, somewhere close to about 90% of that earlier fretting, that earlier panicky feeling evaporated. There was 10% that stayed behind, but it felt completely manageable now. And I got back immediately to Mozart and Amanda. Now, what happened here? And how did it have, or how does it have anything to do with addiction and recovery? Well, I think a lot, and I'd like to invite you to come back to join me tomorrow, and I will very gladly elaborate on my reflections about this experience. Let me wish you a good day today. Thank you for joining me. Appreciate your support here at the Vitality Project. I'll see you tomorrow.